You are listening to the Alpha Basscast with Jake Boomer, Brian Smith, and Bo Fletcher.
You are recording.
We're recording now?
Yeah. Now,
We're back.
if anything goes wrong, it's not my fault. We don't have our technical advisor here, Bo Raymond. Nope. He's a busy man these days. But we wanted to get back in the saddle and tell everybody where we've been, what's going on in the bass fishing world. So let's do that.
I think there's a couple of important updates. There's a lot been going on since we...
Sadly, we don't remember our last podcast.
Yeah, since we took a little hiatus. But some of that's not our fault. But
mostly our fault.
Bo, we might get to have Bo on as a guest until he gets his stuff figured out. Yeah, but anyways, there are some cool things going on in the industry, and I think we should talk about it. We also have some I'm willing to be to put my current run of tournaments up for abuse and destruction.
Yes.
And just because I do love this sport. It's funny, I'm working with a bunch of businessmen as we are creating this. Everybody will talk about this later. The biggest craze in bass fishing. And business guys that are in this are like, yeah, take a back seat, like take a break on tournament fishing and work on the business, because this is a great time to be in the industry, and I can't do that. Like, I am in professional fishing. I have a fishing rod company because I love competitive fishing. So
it's not something you can just put on the back burner.
No. Well, let's just I had two thoughts about you and I jumping on here and getting everybody caught up. One, this podcast from this point forward to the end of this year is sponsored by Lose, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have recently converted to all Lose stuff. Always have used them anyway. Love them. It's about time, right? But moving forward from there, I was like, dude, we could do a serious, cover some stuff and make it so that when people listen to this podcast, it's good. Like, man, I actually learned something. I really like it. Or for the next hour, we could just berate each other.
Also a good option.
Yeah. I was pretty torn.
We could do a bit of both. I think a bit of both would be a good plan. Yeah. That's kind of always been our thing, though. You know, a little bit of serious and a whole lot of talking crap to each other. Something we're good at.
100%. I was actually on a podcast the other night talking about the bait stuff and kind of the evolution of our industry and stuff like that. So this will be a good segue into kind of what I wanted to talk to you about, since you've been kind of at the highest level of this game longer than most people that I know. It's like you and Brandon. And talk about this kind of stuff and how, if you're just a recreational angler, this is just fun, right? Like, this is something new. You have a new approach to the way you're going to go to your lakes and stuff like that. Totally. It's easy to integrate it into what you're doing. But I think if you're a competitive angler and you're like in a points race and you're doing stuff like that, these types of new techniques, new baits and stuff like that, I think you have to be kind of calculated about how you look into them. Do you agree?
100%. You can't let it
I'll give you an example.
Take over.
Right. It's like, my favorite story is I had the A-rig a year before Paul Elias won at Gunnersville. My old team partner was best friends with Luke Clausen, who was best friends with the guy that actually brought it to market. And I remember testing with it and running it and thinking, it's not worth nothing. Like, who cares? I make 6 casts with it. Don't catch anything. And then Paul Elias won that tournament, and I was literally watching that tournament, and I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe what just happened. The very next event we did, we won. We won a boat. So I definitely should have given it more, but I feel like, I don't know. How do you go about, like, when the chatterbait came out, people raced for it, but how do you, you can't go practice for a tournament and then take this stuff with you until you're confident in it, right? And you're not going to be confident until you force yourself. And I'm not 100% sure I would even know, if I'd be comfortable taking I've got to use this for quite a bit longer, but even then, it's not the first thing I'm going to pick up when I need a bite. I'm not grabbing that thing right now. You?
No. There's a huge learning curve with anything new, and everybody's seen it on the social medias, every single professional angler, influencer. I mean, it's getting comical at this point how many videos there are just to rig that stupid thing. And it's like there's zero substance. It's regurgitated crap. It's just stuff that they saw on Bassmaster Live or MLF Live or anything like that. Like it's something, and with any new bait, it's something you have to take out on your own. Obviously, you want to get an idea of how to use it, but you can't just buy one of those, put it on the front deck for your next tournament, and think you're going to win it. There's so many more layers. It was the same thing with the Alabama rig, same thing with the chatterbait. I mean, we can go on and on. I have stories of when I was probably, I don't know, 15, 16, I bought a chatterbait, the original chatterbait in the little blue box or the little blue packaging, and I brought it out to the Delta.
Bronze hook?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Bronze hook, I remember.
Yep. Green pumpkin one, and it had the Elaztec little spinnerbait trailer in the package already. It was sweet. And I tied it on, and I'm like, I made 3 casts with it at the California Delta. And I quickly cut it off and tied back on a spinnerbait because that's what I was catching them on. That was at least 6 or 7 years before it really came out. And if I would have just thrown it for half of a day, it would have been the most eye-opening experience. So it's a give and take. It's same thing with the Coike. It's embarrassing to say how long I've had those in my box. I've had them. I mean, we talked about them last year. We've talked about them for 2 years almost. And
you cashed a check on with it though. You made a top 10 at the BAM championship with one, right?
I did. Yeah. I've made a little bit of money with it, but the amount of money that I probably left on the table, just not experimenting with it, not going out there and learning that bait, whether it was the right way or the wrong way, just gaining confidence in it, getting some bites with it. You leave a lot on the table and you never know what's going to be the next thing. We've gone from minnows to, which the minnow I felt okay about. Like I felt like I was kind of on the coming out party with the minnow. Obviously there was guys dominating with it before, but I don't feel like I missed out on it. And then I took a lot of time. I practiced with it. I learned it. Then you had the dice, which I also feel like I was on a little bit ahead of a lot of people. I mean, I won the U.S. Open.
Because you're an elite and you're talking to. You have a circle of buddies that are always trying to be ahead of.
100%. I have a
you
big
have
advantage.
To be that. You have to be with those guys.
Yeah.
Right. You can't be 2 iterations behind with bite generation, I don't think.
No. You cannot be. The second you fall behind, they're already going forward, and now you're trying to play catch up, and you can never catch up to those guys. That's the thing. You always have to be at the forefront. You always have to be what's the next thing and trying new stuff. So that's the biggest takeaway from all of these trends. A trend turns into a staple, right? A trendy bait will turn into something that becomes another tool in your toolbox. The Coike is a trend right now. It is no doubt, it is the most popular bait we've seen probably in 6 or 7 years. I'd say it's more popular than a dice. I'd say it's more popular than a minnow right now as far as people wanting to get them and the ability to get them, which is why a lot of people are stepping up and making really, really good baits that are available, like what you got going on. But you have to make sure that you give everything an honest effort. And that's where I always struggle with new stuff. Because if you look at a Coike, it's a sea urchin. Not my first thought of this is going to be the next big thing in bass fishing. When I saw it, I'm like, no, that's huh? What do you do? What do you do with it? But if I would have given it an honest try, and I've worked on that over the past little while, past 3 to 5 years, is trying to actually give things a fair shot, trying to understand the baits, trying to learn why is this a thing, and it's paid off a little bit. But like I said before, you can't just show up and have one tied on the front deck and think you're going to win your next tournament, because it doesn't work like that. So there's a happy medium.
Yeah. Well, the problem is like when you're trying to like tournament anglers, right? Going to the next spot, you're trying to solve the problem of what's going on in the lake in practice, for instance. Once you introduce a variable that you don't have confidence in, for instance, I don't know if it's the Coike that they won't bite versus I don't know if there's actually fish in this area. You've got too many variables, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're like trying to,
back.
you have to, right? You end up reverting back, and that's what happened to me when the Coike first came out. I knew about it, and so I actually practiced for a tournament up here on Coeur d'Alene Lake with it, and I was getting bites with it. The tournament came around, and the first probably half of the day I threw it thinking that it was the deal, and I wasn't getting bites. And the end result is as that day went on, there wasn't around them. They had cycled and I missed them. But the thing that stuck in my head is they just don't bite the Coike. The truth was they just weren't biting very good, right? So, but the end result was I put them up. I'm like, I don't need these, right?
Yeah, that's a really good point too. You lose confidence in a new thing so fast when you don't get
when it really
on it.
When it probably wasn't the bait. And then you end up saying, well, that doesn't work in this area. It doesn't work in the Northwest. I'm pretty sure I'm going to find out, and I've already started catching them. I'm going to find out that I was wrong. You know what I mean? I'm going to find out some dude in the last 4 or 5 tournaments has been keeping it a secret. Kind of like, in my opinion, Pake South did. Pake South at the beginning of this year did a huge scope deal with Tom Reddington. I keep talking about the Tom Reddington podcast. I don't know Tom very well. I don't know him at all. I think I met him at a classic 10 years ago or whatever, but super nice guy. One of the best podcasts. way better than our podcast.
Whoa.
All right. Anyways,
You're right.
Good podcast. But in that podcast, Pake South is saying that jerkbait's the thing, because he couldn't come out and say, I'm going to win the next 2 opens on this stupid urchin bait. So, but I will give you the iteration on how we came about it. We never intended to sell it. We never, we have a mutual buddy now, because you met him at our media event last year, he's a genius with a camera. He's a genius. He's just the dude that is always working on stuff. Alex Urchin.
100 miles an hour everywhere he goes.
Don't call him, because he's not making you any. Alex is the man though, but I brought it up. I'm like, hey, listen, we want to do some tackle ideas. What do you think? You think you could duplicate this? And he looked at it like, that's a challenge. And they totally dove in. And it's not easy. You can't use the standard Zorn plastic machines that make all the worms in the world and stuff like that you buy on the walls right now. You cannot use those machines to make this. And it takes really high PSI. It takes it took him 14 months to get the concoction down of this. I call it a polymer plastisol blend, the way he got it so that it has the right floatant and rigidity and durability and all that stuff in it. But we never intended on selling them online. And then Brandon put them on blast in the last Santee Cooper deal. Sure. And we're like, all right. Yeah. It was either that or have Alpha Angler be berated for years. Like, why won't you sell these? And I always hate I hate that. I hate that about our sport. I don't like thinking that because one person can hog this bait that gives them a little bit of an advantage, that I have to spend $250 to have a bait to compete. You know, and I hate that. I don't like spending $9 for a bag of Sakamata shads that last 4 fish. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. We spend enough money to stay on the road doing what we're doing. I don't like it. So anyways, we did release it, but we can't keep them in stock. So better get, if you want some, you get on there's a drop list on our website. We released some yesterday. They were all gone. They're shipping all out today and tomorrow. But Brandon proved to us the one thing that I couldn't get to kind of in where I was at in tournament stuff, because I kind of wrote them off. He proved they were valid. You know what I mean? He was on camera when he lost his last Coike, and then I was watching him tie. I got this other one. He pulled up a Ziploc bag of them, ties it on, and catches an 8, a 6, and a 4. I'm like, what other validation do you need? You know,
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I think that'll work.
They eat it. Yep.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a bait where obviously the details matter in some respects, but you guys got the plastic right for it not being TPE, not being Elastec. I think you're the only one on the market that has an actual plastisol plastic in your baits. And that, I think, adds to, from what I've seen, it's the rigidity in the tentacles. That's the whole thing with that bait. If you get your Amazon or Temu version and you hold it up and those legs flop to the side, you can just throw it away.
It definitely has to have that. It's like the Senko shimmy when it falls, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It took
needs that stiffness.
Yep. It took 14 months for Alex to get this concoction down. And then I think a lot of people are going to think, I think a lot of people will be like, well, if it's not TP, it's not as good. Like, I hate to say it, but like, get that out of your head, because
it's probably better.
The benefits that this version gives you is that you can control colors a lot better. You can have more of like this color where you can have a translucent where light comes through it. TPE doesn't have that capability. But the other benefit, everybody thinks TPE is more durable, but it's not. It doesn't last longer. It takes a set. You can't boil it back to straight. You know what I mean? These things, we ship these in Ziploc bags to the pros, and to a lot of pros, by the way. And they take them out, and there's, you know what I mean? If you left them in the Ziploc bag,
the form always stays.
A month. Not always. Like, if you left it in the bag for a month, it would.
But you don't have to take like. Let's be real. That is the most obnoxious part of the actual Coike, is storing it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and you got to rotate the box.
Right? You have to. Oh yeah, yeah. I have those fish ones, and every 3 weeks I have to go into my boat and flip them over so they don't all go the same way. I saw one guy. I saw a video, and he put like pins into every one of his fish legs on the Coike fish to keep them in line. Like,
way.
This is too far.
Well, the other problem too is like TPE, thermoplastic elastomer, is what it means, is an absolute pain. Yeah, thank you. It's an absolute, like, I have a box where I put them all in there. Well, I put a couple of ours in there with the Coike ones I have originals, and the plastisol will actually melt the TPE. Like, it melted the legs off. It's like kind of like if you have an old Ned worm, like the Ned, and throw it on the floor with all the rest of your normal baits. It's a
science experiment in 3 days.
Oh, it's disgusting. But that's actual chemical reaction that's happening between the two.
Yeah, and it ruins the entire bait. Your colors will blend and mix. Like, I have some original Coikes that are 6 different colors now, just because they were a little too close to each other. So storage with, is it just the ouchie? Is that what you're calling it?
Yeah, we call it the ouchie.
Did you come up with that when you stubbed your toe?
No, the ouchie from SpongeBob SquarePants. He's an urchin. Can't believe nobody knows that. Brandon was like, he goes, are you guys going to release these things? And I'm like, I guess we probably have to now. And I said, I think we're going to call it the ouchie. And he goes, I'm not calling it that. Well, I don't care what you call it. It's too late. We already branded it. Sorry, man. What else are we going to call it? Who cares? It's an urchin bait. Anyways.
It's done.
Yeah. So, but like, if you're going to, that's the hardest part about new things that come out. Like I said, I had the A-rig before everybody else. And that's just, I don't know. Chatterbait, same thing. Like, how do you integrate that into your tournament world? And, I mean, it's not like you're just going to tie it on, go to the tournament, and win the next tournament. Like, if you should be practicing and figure out what's going on with fish, I have a really hard time grabbing a bait I don't have confidence with. And I think as I get older and the longer I've done this, those confidence baits, it's really hard to go down like, I should go try something. You got to go pick a day and just use it.
And you have to hope it's the right day for it.
Yeah, I will say that I talked to Zach Burge about it, and I said, are there lakes where they just won't bite it? And he goes, oh, yeah. And he named like 3. So that's not the end all.
It's really weird. It is really weird. Like, don't lose confidence in that bait because you didn't catch them one day. It's, for some reason, they work on a lot of lakes. I would say they work on a majority of the lakes, but they don't work on every lake in every situation. And they are very situational from what I've seen. It's not something that you can just go, I mean, you can kind of go down the bank in certain places, but it seems more of a bait where you're looking for a fish on a piece of structure. And the reason why I say that is because it's not something you can catch roamers and floaters with it, absolutely. But if they're not within 10 feet of the surface, like you're not sinking that thing down 20 feet.
Yeah.
Because
Did you
you're
see
just,
Alex Davis, the way he won the MPFL with
yeah.
it, though?
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
watch some of his footage?
Mm.
Some of it, he was in a bay and he was just bombing it out in the middle of the bay and snapping it. And like,
Yeah.
they obviously don't have live scope in those tournaments. So he was obviously, I mean, I saw him also get one hung under a dock. The number one, and that's the funny thing too. Everyone's like, well, TPE is more durable. The number one way you lose these baits is they get hung up under something and you can't get them, right?
Yeah.
Like skipping under a dock or thrown into a bush. I don't think you throw off a lot of these, but
No.
the cool thing about using,
to be fair, I've thrown off the TPE ones, so
yeah,
nothing's
the cool thing
impenetrable.
about these is that you can use screw locks with them. So like you could put a
Yes.
screw lock in this and then run a hook through it, and then use your little trick that you showed me, the Versa Keepers,
Mhm.
and run it down your hook, and it holds it. I haven't thrown one off yet, but I have hung one like on bridge pilings and stuff like that, and then you break it off. Curse, but
yeah. And
anyways,
they're available. That's the nice part. I still Hideup is like, I don't know what they're doing. They're doing something trying to keep the originals low. I don't know if they're selling them on eBay, like the owners. they're making them and just selling them one by one on eBay,
making $280 a piece.
I have no idea, but they do not seem motivated to be pumping them out.
I think the rumor I heard is that they're hung up on a container ship outside of the great port of Sacramento. So
I'll go take a look.
Or you gonna
go run?
You be out there in your
my
bass
skeeter
boat?
out there. Whichever one says Hideup, I'll be the pirate. I'm boarding this. This is worth.
That would be awesome. Driving around
you're
container
stealing
ships. You guys got
baits?
any Coikes?
You're stealing baits. We have a container full of oil right here. No. I want the baits. Give me the baits.
Yeah. Make sure you go check on that for me.
Yeah. No.
Anyways, so new bait. How do you incorporate it? I think we covered that good. Like, we do sell them. They are out of stock. Get on the wait list. I think it's a good time to make fun of each other for a couple minutes and make this entertaining. So go ahead. Oh, I know what we could do. We could talk about the next segment.
Yeah. No. Let's combo both of those. Why have you sucked?
I have been we were going to do a longer podcast about slumping, and I have the awesome benefit of getting to call guys like Bryant, Polinick, my friends. We almost always call each other after every tournament. Me and you pretty much do it every time. Like, hey, what was going on? What decisions you make? What would you do differently? What would you do better? And currently, the last 4 or 5 phone calls I've made. But it doesn't feel like it's funny now. But my buddy Jason Hickey has a rule. It's called the 5-day rule, right? I've been using the 5-day rule a lot. And the 5-day rule goes like this. Nothing I say 5 days after an ass whipping can be used against me
in a court of law.
And or by my wife. So when I come home and I'm like, that's it, I'm selling it. I called Brandon the other day. A buddy of mine told me this story. I called Brandon the other day and I said, hey man, you got any rollerblades? My buddy Brian told me this story is funny. And Brandon's like, what? And I said, I'll trade you any rollerblades for my bass boat. Cause obviously I don't need my boat. So like, Brandon's like, no, I got any damn rollerblades. My buddy Brian said that was funny. But yeah.
We've all been there.
But so I have a conversation with Brandon. He knows my brain is super analytical, right? And sometimes natural fishing has to avoid analytics. So when you're all done with it, you're like, all right, how do we just change this pattern? I practiced really hard in the last tournament. All the stuff that he was saying, and then I talked to you a little bit, and it's like, hey man, why don't you just change your approach to the next tournament? Just don't do it the way you normally do it. Don't practice a lot or whatever you normally do. Just go different. Show up with a half day of practice and wing it. Whatever, do something different. And some of that, my analytical brain I agree with that thought process. Like I like to pre-practice, especially when I get to be up here. One of the things I like about this sport is putting the work in. I enjoy it. Like I don't go fun fishing. I just never have really. I've always been a tournament angler. And so I look at that and I'm like, okay, I kind of get that. And Brandon's like, don't pre-practice your next event. Don't do it. Just show up, official practice, make sure everything you have at home and don't be so analytical. But then the thought about this last tournament, which was Moses Lake, that hit me was maybe it was just a tough tournament. Maybe trying to get out of a slump, being analytical about getting out of a slump is the mistake as well. What do you think? Like, what 100%. If it was just, what if I just didn't get the big bites? What if I just, you know what I mean? Like, and in my defense in that tournament, I didn't know it at the time, but I found the winning spot. I started with the winner on day 1. I gave it to him on day 2 because he was 6 pounds ahead of me. Personally, I didn't know it was the winning spot. I just thought I was doing the right thing when I said, "Hey, listen, I know Daryl. Daryl is an incredible individual. He was a boat out ahead of me. I wasn't going to crowd him. He was 6 pounds ahead of me. I was going to go find my own fish. But after that, I never found anything else. And when I did fish that spot with him, I never caught anything big. So I don't know. Decision making, maybe analyzing how to get out of a slump in an analytical mind is probably the wrong. What would you think of that thought process?
You're going to be your own worst enemy throughout this with the way you think. I've traveled with you enough to understand how you see bass fishing, and you see it in a very good way. It's just in a different way than a lot of people do. You need to have a reason, because then it makes sense. It just can't be. Like, you can't I'm just going to roll up to this dock and, these 6 docks, and I'm just going to fish them. Looks good. Something's telling me, I need to go do it. I'm going to go do it. You have to have a reason to be there. And when you take that mindset and try to analyze the slump you're in, you're trying to find a reason. And if there was an answer to it, nobody would ever be in a slump for more than one tournament.
True.
There's nothing you can really do, and I've gone through them. And I've had a couple different kinds. One was like 2 that really pop into my head was I was on the West Coast and I was fishing everything like I usually do. And the first, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years into my career out here, it wasn't hard. Everything just kind of fell into place.
You won everything. You won a boat a year.
Yeah, everything just kind of fell into place, and it did that because it was pure instinctual fishing. Like, I didn't think, obviously I shouldn't say I didn't think, but it just, all the puzzle pieces just fell in place. And that makes it easier. Then it's just, put the work in, be efficient on the water, and execute. Execution, efficiency on the water, those are the easiest things of bass fishing. It's getting to where your head is in the right space. That's the hardest part. So what I did in that instance was I just kept fishing. And that's what I've always done when I've had bad tournaments, string of bad tournaments, a slump, is just keep fishing. And the cool thing is you make one good decision. One little, like, you look to your left, you see a lay down, you don't even think about it. You just drive over, you flip it, you catch a 6-pounder, and you're back. Like, it is literally that simple.
Yeah,
it's trusting your instincts when you stop trusting your instincts, you go into slumps. You start fishing poorly because you overthink everything, or you drive past stuff that like Brandon has one of the rules. I don't know where I saw it. Bass University, something. He says if he looks at something twice, he goes and fishes it.
He's going over there. Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
He said that before to me. It's funny because Conrad slumped it last year pretty good. And he stayed with me. He's left his truck and boat here, and he flew back home. He'll be back up for potholes. And I'm like, how'd you get out of it? And his attitude is kid's a clown. Just sitting there like eating dinner, gives me this dumb look, and he goes, just keep fishing, bro. He says something dumb. That's how he got out. You just put your head down and keep going, right? But Polinick did say something's good too. He said, because he's dealing with a little bit more, because he's like, I don't know if I'm the guy to talk to you about it, because I don't think he's super happy about his. I mean, Santee was good, but this isn't his best year. He's kind of starting to run into this, like, before he could do no wrong, 14 classics in a row, that kind of stuff. And now he's starting to deal with he's starting to deal with it. He's like, dude, you got to make sure your stuff outside of life, because, you're a good human. You have good priorities, family, all that kind of stuff. That stuff has to be in line. And even if it was stressful when you left and you said, that didn't really bother me, he goes, it will mess with you. Like when you get, we talked about it with McNamara, cognitive units, like how much brain you process everything, and then you get there and you're on the lake on the water and you have no free flowing thoughts. Can't even talk. So I agree with that too. And currently right now, Brandon brought this up too. I've got a graduating high schooler, so it's just crazy. Lily's going to graduate this year, which is, I think it's probably hitting my wife harder than it's hitting me, but it's really brought up a lot of, like, we're just busy, super busy. And then obviously the fishing industry is going back to hopefully to normal, and Alpha's doing well. We've got Coikes coming out of our ears, or Ouchies coming out of our ears. And so been really busy. And that's why after talking to you guys on Sunday and then talking to Conrad when he got home and told me how his tournament went, what if it was just a bad tournament? Like, how often do you go, hey, that's just what it was. I didn't get the bite. I move on. Like, I'm not mad about, I made a couple.
If you fish a tournament and you don't have any regrets about how you fished it, and like real regrets, not hindsight, like, hey, you thought about fishing that tree and you drove right past it because you were scared to take away time, and I've done it. If you don't have any regrets like that, it just, you can't find them every time. It's just the reality of it. The compounding thing with you is you've had a couple tournaments in a row where it just didn't work out. And that makes that also could, you can't catch them every time. We all want to, but it's not how this works. There's too many variables. We're not Trey McKinney.
That kid is phenom.
He's the only one that's.
He's the next Jake. He's the next Jacob Wheeler, I think. It's insane,
dude. He's better at this point. It's ridiculous. His worst finish this year is 25th. Like, could you imagine? I had a bad tournament, ended up in 25th. Yeah.
That's so crazy.
That's not everybody's reality, and you got to think about it. It could just be a bad tournament. Like, you just didn't find them. Yeah. There's nothing. Well, as long as the process was good and you felt good about your decision making on what you had, I'll take it back to Gerald Swindle on one of his Bass. I'm a Bass University nerd. I've watched them all 100 times. When you're on 10 pounds of fish, you go catch 10 pounds of fish. Even if it's going to take 15 to get a check, you can't turn that 10 into 15, but you can go catch your 10 and then go try to upgrade after that, try new stuff. You got to catch what you're on, and sometimes you're just on middle of the road fish.
Yeah. I will go through a list of mistakes, and you can tell me what you think of them.
Yes.
After like going through it, a couple list of mistakes I made. So it was Moses Lake tournament. I did spend quite a bit of time there trying to figure it out. One huge mistake is fishing that body of water all the time, but not that time of year. We almost always fish March, April, and then I never go back. I mean, our schedule gets us on the road. And so there were areas of the lake that I was like, I would look at them and just completely write them off, even if they probably had the right stuff. I didn't even practice on. Like, it could be like I like one section and not look at the section adjacent to it. And that's like a subconscious decision because it sucks in March. I don't go over there. So I never went over there, right? Or I might go through it kind of quickly. So That really hurt. There was like, I kind of wrote off a couple of areas, and it's probably subconsciously going, yeah, that probably isn't a great March, April spot. But having so much history there, and generally we catch pretty good bags in the spring there, I'm like, So I wrote off a couple areas. Mistake number one. That one burned me, because when I watched guys fishing a line of Thule's that I'd seen that I think is garbage, and they caught 2 5s. Like Conrad caught 2 5s out of a stretch that I hate. It's like, oh man, it lined up perfectly. In my head, subconsciously, I didn't like it. So that's something you got to get over when you're fishing bodies of water against really good fishermen that you fish all the time, but probably at the wrong time of year. Mistake number one. So there was areas I didn't look at. My biggest mistake right now is like in these smaller lakes is if I don't find something in practice, but for some reason I'm convinced they should be there, I go back in the tournament. That never, like, so for instance, I fished a stretch, or I fish an area in practice, and I don't catch them. But for some reason, it makes sense that they should be there. I waste tournament time there. I go back. Somehow, even though 2 days ago I didn't get a freaking bite there, I run back through it because they should have been there. That hurts.
Yeah.
That's dumb. Yeah, I know you're going to say. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's a free one. You can have this one. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to be brave enough to fish where there aren't fish.
Or dumb enough.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I try not to do that. If I don't catch something on an area, and there's nothing wrong with giving it 10 minutes to get it out of your mind if it's a really good stretch, but I ain't going to spend an hour there or 2. I'm not going to waste half my tournament. And that's where your local knowledge is going to hurt you.
Hurts you bad. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it's where, I having an open mind, instinctually fishing. When you instinctually fish, I've seen you do it. You're unstoppable. You just need to get back to that.
Yeah. I can catch, like, when I'm and here's the other mistake I made in that tournament was, I default to smallmouth too much. You know what I mean? I like smallmouth fishing.
I get it.
Yeah, I had this post-spawn deal where it was every day there was another couple groups of fish showing up. I know there's big smallmouth, post-spawn smallmouth there. I caught a 4-pounder in practice. And so after giving Daryl that area, I kind of was running around looking for another area like it. Well, I fell back to smallmouth. Well, we had a cold front that night, and that's another thing I kind of missed.
Tornado?
We had a tornado before the first day of the tournament, which I think I'm not kidding. I got a video. I'm gonna have to find this video. Like, it is insane. But we had this is the craziest storm I've ever seen. And I was in my camper. I mean, like, we're in the camper and the wind is hitting, and my wife goes, Can this camper tip over? No. Like, no, honey.
You are a glorified trailer park. It's coming right for you.
Dude, no. Honey, this is a metal kite. Yes, it can tip over. Yeah, and it can fly under the neighbor's house. I was like, we need to cuddle up here, come cuddle with me. We'll keep more weight centered so we don't fall down. She's like, she knew exactly what I was up to. But
nice.
Yeah. So we had this crazy storm come through that I know rocked the fish a little bit, but it was spawn time. Like, there was largemouth that wanted to be up. And I think it pushed them back a little bit. And then I kind of knew that, and I kind of slowed down in my starting area, and I was getting bites in there. I just never got good ones. And I came back in the afternoon and still never got a good bite in the area where Daryl won. And so I went out and I defaulted to smallmouth fishing. The first day was easy, 15 pounds, 5 minutes. It's over, right? I caught him. I went searching for more largemouth, never got a really good largemouth bite. The second night, it got cold. So you got a post-frontal day, got some cold. That pushed the fish probably off the Thule's. And I was kind of thinking that the fish were out off the Thule's and away from the breaks, and they were more susceptible to like a chatterbait through the grass because of all the boats constantly going up and down the Thule's. That'll push them off, I think. But I was fishing fresh water in some areas that I should have been getting bites up against the Thule's, and I never got anything over 2 pounds. So I think that cold water just pulled them out to the grass. Is that or that cold night probably just pulled them out, or do you think it was boat traffic that pulled them out? Or is it both?
Did they for sure pull out?
Yes.
Or
yeah, I mean,
they didn't
after
go
talking
further
to Conrad, that's how he. No, and I thought that's what I mean. I'm a pretty good flipper. I was trained by a ding dong buddy of mine I know, so I'm pretty good at flipping. And I flipped for 4 hours, through that whole day, and never got a flipping bite. which is really weird to me. Like, that's I mean, even if they went to the bed, you'd think eventually you're going to flip on a bed and get a ding dong to eat it, one that's just fired up and on there. And I never got that, no matter what I did. And I flipped. I think
they must
some pretty good
have pulled off.
Well, and that's how Conrad caught him. He just backed up. Smart thought, right? A thought that never crossed my mind. He just backed up. He didn't catch a lot of them, but his coing, he backed up to a stretch him and I shared, and I went down it, and then I'm like, these things are getting beat up. I'm gonna go try to find a less beat up area, and he just backed way up off of it and found one grass clump that happened to be milfoil. He ran his chatterbait through it as milfoil, so he made like numerous casts to it. He caught a 582 on day 2, and his coingler caught a 643, big fish of the coingler side off the same grass clump. Oops. But it wasn't like this thing that was going and going and going, because he couldn't make it work on day 3 when he made the top 10.
Yeah.
So he, but Marco Valdez did. But he's, Marco, that dude is a largemouth catching machine.
That's what he does.
He almost won that tournament. He came back from 9th, weighed 23 pounds on the last day, and moved to 2nd and almost won the tournament. Daryl beat him by a pound. Pretty crazy.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah. No, if I, every time there's a weather change, if I would just revert back to, it's pretty much a rule, is throw where your trolling motor was the day before, you would catch a lot of fish.
With bad weather? Mm-hmm. So with bad weather, your thought is throw where the trolling motor was?
Yeah.
You actually made that comment?
Yeah, I did.
I actually backed up quite a bit. Yeah. Well, no, you told me that. I actually backed up and was fishing offshore quite a bit more, because you said, hey, they're probably under your boat. You told me that 2 or 3 days before the tournament was. I just never got a bite doing it. I never ran into one.
It's tough. Like I said, I don't think you did very much wrong. I think you just didn't get the bites, and because you get a bite doing that, and then you're good. Like, okay, I'm dialed. I'm going to do this the rest of the day with a ton of confidence, and you're going to end up converting 3 or 4 more bites. It's tough when you're doing the right thing and it just doesn't come together. That's when it sucks, because that's when it's like everything's fighting against you. But if you do that, I did that at Okeechobee, the one that Brandon won. I was throwing in practice. They were on the bank. I would throw my Thunder Cricket and I would hit the rocks, just fishing the levee rocks, fishing the canals like everybody else. And I would hit the bank with my Thunder Cricket and 3 or 4 winds, and I'd have one on. And we were in there for, it was me and David Gaston. We were in there for maybe an hour. And I caught 2 high 4s and like a 6-pounder in practice. I'm like, dude, this is all we got. Let's go. It's going to happen in here, or it's not. Day 1 of the tournament, cold front, a little bit colder. I'm throwing on the bank and I'm only catching tiny ones. And I weigh in, I think 8 or 9 pounds. Like,
this is your sophomore year too, right? Is this your what you consider your
third year? This is the third year. Okay. But it was that the second tournament? Yeah, it was the second tournament after my bad year. So the demons are still there. And one gust of wind that second morning. And honestly, I was in a really good headspace. We had an hour and a half fog delay. I'm in 80-something place. Like, that, it is what it is. Everybody's got the same conditions. Fog delays always used to bother me. That one didn't. And I just went out there and I started fishing, and a gust of wind I made a bad cast. Thought it was a bad cast. And my Thunder Cricket landed 5 feet off the bank, and I catch a 5.5-pounder. There you go. They were under my trolling motor. My trolling motor literally the first day went over all of those fish. So when you get a weather change, it's a shallow water thing, cover oriented, like all the toolies you're talking about. It doesn't matter if they're not on the bank. They didn't just swim away. Shallow fish, cover oriented fish, I don't think they just swim around the lake. They're not pelagic. They just go out a little bit. So if you fish 3 really good stretches that you think there should be some fish on there, and you caught them there in practice, got some bites, whatever it was, just back out a couple boat lengths and throw where your trolling motor was going, because 9 times out of 10, that's where they went.
Huh. All right.
It's
I
that
just
easy.
needed a bite. Here, let me show you this tornado.
I don't know what your problem was.
Immune people. This is the storm hitting. Like 20 minutes before the storm hit. We're all outside.
I like armchair quarterback. It's fun.
Yeah, everybody likes it. It's so easy to look back too. Like I was going through. Cool thing about Bam is he posts thousands of pictures of after the tournament. So you're looking at people. Wade Wilkins almost won the tournament. He's an alpha angler, or at least buys alphas from us. Kid is a hammer, and they show a picture of him, and he is a cast length away from the bank. The Tules. Same Tules that I went up and down twice because I was catching them under docks in practice on the Sanko. I went up and down them, stayed pretty close to the bank. His picture, he is a cast away from the bank, and I'm like, so smart. Just didn't. Here's that storm that hit the night before the tournament started.
Good Lord.
Did you see the whole board fly out of the back of the truck?
Oh, yeah. That's good stuff.
That was the leveling board that he had to keep his camper above so it didn't hit the truck. That thing went ping-ponging through the neighbor's yard at about 70 miles an hour. I slipped and caught him like, dude, did you go after that? He goes, that thing was 9 miles away by the time I got out of the camper.
No chance.
I didn't go after it. I have a feeling that he was like laying down in the fetal position under like the table in his camper. Like, if this thing starts to fly off, what's my plan?
What do I do?
That thing was going like 100 miles an hour.
I guess we haven't had one in very long. We had a tornado at Muskogee. You remember that beautiful place?
It's hot. There's a lot of bugs. It's muggy. Isn't Muskogee the birthplace of the tornado? The trailer launchers?
Apparently.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
So
yeah.
We have just massive thunderstorms. Everything's rolling through every afternoon. You see them coming, you go, you flee, you hide, take cover. We're in a cinder block house. And we're watching the weather. And then I'm staying with David Gaston. I am asleep. It is 10 o'clock at night. I have been in bed for an hour. I am asleep. And about 10:15, he knocks on my door. Get up! I'm like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. Like, nope. Let's go. Come on, put your clothes on. We're out of here. I'm like, what are you talking about? My buddy just called tornado, touchdown, 20 miles away. We're out. I'm like, shut up and go to bed. And he's freaking, I'm allergic to tornadoes just like the next guy. But there literally was a tornado I think it ended up being like 22 miles away. We watched the Weather Channel for a little bit, and I finally got him to relax and calm down and go back to bed.
He said that too.
He lives in Tornado Alley in Alabama. Yeah. So I get it. But I was too tired. I was totally okay. If today was my day, that's fine. I'm going out asleep.
All right.
But then we go outside, we look at the weather, and then I look at the house. I'm like, this house is old. It's made it through at least 3 or 4 tornadoes. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Yeah.
Until you're the next victim in a Twister movie. Yep.
Yeah, it'd be a hell of a way to go out.
It's not it's not that the wind is blowing. It's what the wind is blowing.
Yeah. I don't want to be the what.
Yeah, so that's the update. I'm fishing through it. It does kind of suck. Hey, we could talk about a serious mental mistake, and I've heard 2 stories about this that I made at Havasu. And I'll just be straight up. I don't like Havasu. Like, I particularly hate the place. I don't like how pressured it is. I just don't like it.
Speaks to me.
Yeah. And when I went to go to that place, I called you and said, I just need to survive that tournament. I survived that tournament. The rest of the year is going to be easy. And you're like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Don't do that. Ended up being my worst pro tournament, I think, in history. So there's a mindset that comes from being like, I don't know. Brandon said that he's got a buddy on that travels with him on tour that says the same thing about Santee. And Brandon goes, I gave him the bait I gave him what he needed to look for. I gave him everything he needed to do really well. But because he hated that place, he was never gonna do well.
Yeah.
He was never gonna, you know what I mean?
Mindset is
Which
everything.
I think, yeah, 100%. I'll never do that again. I don't know why I felt that way. I just got it in my head. I don't like Havasu. I don't like the 19-hour drive. I don't like fishing for 4 hours to try to get one bite. You know what I mean? And then when I kind of got it out of my head the second day and actually kind of went in and fished in a group like everybody you have to do at Havasu to catch them, I was fishing in a group with a bunch of people. I started connecting with them and not landing them, but still figured out how to catch them. So it's all in your head, man.
It is. The best pro angler that I could build was one that completely gets rid of all of his ideas about the lake that he's going to before it starts. If you could truly fish a lake with an open mind, you would be unstoppable. Because everybody
Everybody's
at our
human,
level,
though. How are you gonna?
No, you can't. That's what I'm saying. Like, if we're building the ideal angler, you do it with an open mind. That's number one. That's the start of it. That's what I'm going to try and do with the basket tank. Got that coming up this next week, and I had a good tournament last year. Ended up in the 20s, and I have been convincing myself over the past month, basically since Santee ended, a couple weeks, whatever it was. You need to fish this like you've never fished it before, because you haven't. We haven't. Realistically, we haven't. We've
Same time of year, different time of year?
Different time of year. And I'm hoping that I can fish it and not even fish what the areas I fished before, because they don't make sense right now. I don't want to fall back on something just because I've caught fish there before. I mean, I'll probably check them, but it'll be quick. But I'm going to try and fish it with an just completely open mind, fish new areas, and just fish the conditions. I think if you do that every time, everything lines up eventually.
Yeah, you'd be better off. What is it a scope or non-scope one?
It is a scope tournament.
But it's not a great scoping lake, is it? It's not really like, or is it? I know that when Welcher won, he was scoping, but he was really just looking at the stumps, I think.
He's bed scoping.
Bed scoping, gotcha. Well, that'll be interesting.
It'll be a thing. They get offshore on isolated stumps and blowdowns and stuff like that there, so it'll be.
Is it hard to get around?
If the wind blows.
But not like treacherous, like running through cut off trees.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's nothing like that. It's but if the wind blows, it turns into an absolute ocean. And the hardest part and the biggest part the biggest hurdle I'm gonna have to jump through is you have to pick an area and you're stuck with it. Because either one, you don't have time to go run somewhere else, or two, you don't have the fuel to go run somewhere else.
It's that big. Wow.
It is. So to get out of the Pasquotank River into the Sound, just to the Sound, where you have access to everywhere, it's just a big open area, it's 15 miles. The next closest creek is another 15 miles, so you're 30 miles away there, but that's in the opposite direction. So you could fish the North River, but then you would pretty much have to come back to the Pasquotank. You can go to Alligator River, which is anywhere from 30 to 70 miles, depending on how far in you want to go. You can go to the Chowan, which is 55 miles to the mouth of it. So you would probably need gas to get up in there. Roanoke's 55 miles. A lot of the other creeks are 30 to 40 miles one way. And if the wind blows, like there was guys that it took them 3 hours last time just to get to make their first cast. And then you got to factor in, you got another 3 hours coming back.
Right. Giving yourself 2 hours to fish in a day.
Yeah. Breaking absolutely everything in your boat. The service yard, I remember the service yard. They were basically open for business until like 2 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
That's how many people broke stuff there. So hopefully, I've heard in June that the wind isn't as bad. But being that it's a Bassmaster Elite Series, I'm sure the wind will be just as bad.
Oh yeah.
And we will have curveballs.
Every time we show up for a tournament, I remember the FLW, it was fish lousy weather. Like the minute we show up, like we showed up and it was beautiful at Moses Lake. The day, like 2 hours before the tournament, there's 75 mile an hour winds. Just part of
tornado.
the tournament bass fishing.
Yep. So you got to make the adjustments.
And then you're coming up for potholes, and then we'll have a Super 60 on Brownlee.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's going to be a gas burner too. The good news is gas is not quite as high as it was. Yeah. And we get to buy Idaho gas. Idaho gas is a lot better than Washington gas.
Yeah.
In California.
No, I'm looking forward to potholes. I think that'll be. I didn't want to miss that one.
Stay off my spots.
No chance. What's that one going to be like?
That's going to be like, I'll show you what it's going to be like. I'm going to be in your boat. You're going to be in a headlock. We're going to be talking about where you're not supposed to be. You're going to be screeching like a girl. And then when I'm done whooping your ass, I'm going to ask you to troll and motor me back to my boat because I'll be so angry that I'll forget to hit spot lock. It's June. I don't know. The cool part about fishing a lake that I've fished 1,000 times, potholes. The water's super high, super high, and it's because they are trying to keep enough water in the reservoirs for our hot summer with our lack of, rain and snow melt and snowpack, whatever you want to say. So things are quite a bit different. So I think it's going to be
even higher than it was last time.
It's as full as you can get it right now, which is generally something you don't see until you see like, March and April, and then we're starting to see it pulling down. But now, I mean, the guys that took a day off or took 1 or 2 days off before the Moses Lake Derby went there and said they've never seen it that high. So,
yikes!
I don't know what that means. In all honesty, fish have to do what they're going to do. Fish that are going to go to the bed are going to go to the bed. I don't know if they'll be bed fishing and they'll just be so deep we can't get to them. Like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. That's a great question. If normally they bed in an area and that's normally 3 or 4 feet deep when they want to go to the bed at the time they go to it, but it's an 8 feet, did they just not spawn that year? Not every fish spawns every year. I learned that. That's crazy. Good news.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Tag Watson gave me this huge. He talked about the way smallmouth and largemouth. Not every fish will bed every year. They can actually cycle. But with the water being high like this, I think we will have a really good spawn that will protect an already great fishery, and we'll just get greater numbers. I think we'll get better and better every year. But
that is good. Falling water in the spring is the worst thing for the population.
For you, when you show up, you should just bring sandwich making stuff, and you should sit on your hands and make sandwiches, and stay off my spots. That's what I think you should do.
What I heard was follow you around and poach all your stuff.
Just remember, when Bo actually gets back to helping me out, I'm going to have him show me some jujitsu moves for what I can use on you.
That's all right. I feel like I can outrun you.
Something where you can't run me if you're in your boat.
I can hit you.
Yeah.
Intimidation factor will be there.
You have 2 boats, so yeah, you could ruin one.
Yeah. I got a backup.
What is the backup doing? I have a feeling your backup boat probably looks like.
Backup boat doesn't get a lot of love.
No, like neglect.
It's got a little bit of that.
Yeah, like you probably rob parts off of it. Yeah, you rob parts off of it for your other boat. It's got a bunch of busted rods in it that you think are my fault. They
are. Quality control is not there anymore.
Probably haven't washed the tires. You probably have one set of tires on your boat that have like brake dust and they're black. And, like you see tandem axle trailers with a guy that doesn't wash his boat. It's true, isn't it?
3 different brands of tires on there right now. Okay. And one has a plug in it. So shove it.
Oh, dude, you are the best tire plugger I've ever met. I don't know how many times you plugged tires when we were on the NPFL, but you could do it quicker than they could get you a Whopper.
I am a NASCAR pit crew when it comes to tire plugging. I just plugged a tire on my truck the other day. I could not figure out where this tire was leaking from like day 2 of practice in Lake Murray. My tire pressure gauge on my truck went off. Like, hey, you need, and I looked and it's at 40 PSI when it's supposed to be at 65. So I look and I'm like, there's no screw, probably just the valve stem leaking. Fill it up. I filled it up. I probably spent $15 in air over 2 weeks filling it up with.
Buy a portable compressor.
I don't have room for a portable compressor.
They're this big. They're like the little DeWalt ones. They're amazing.
I know. I need to get one. Anyway, I finally get to Cobb's house where I'm going to go drop my boat off. And I get some water and I get some soap and I dump it all the way around the valve stem. I'm like, it's got to be please be the valve stem. I can't afford another tire. And no bubbles come out. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I just throw the rest of the water on the tire and walk away. Like, what in the hell could this thing be leaking from? And I come back and there's bubbles this big off of
what, like a screw or something?
It was just it was a screw, but there was no head left. So I couldn't see the head of the screw. I couldn't see any of the metal. There's just bubbles. And I'm like, oh, there it is. So I go to Walmart and I walk in there nicely. I was like, hey, I know. And mind you, I have a flight and I have to leave at 3 a.m. from Cobb's house to get to the airport. So we're pressed for time. It's about 5 p.m. the night before. I go into Walmart, like, hey, can I get this tire plugged or replaced, like whatever? And I looked in there and there was at least 15 people sitting down waiting for their tires to be done. And she's like, yeah, sorry, we're booked. You can come back tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be here. So luckily, Cobb's dad actually owned a tire shop for a long, long time. So I bought the plug kit and we put a plug in there. And the best part is I backed my truck into the parking spot at the airport. I have no idea if there's air in that tire, but I backed it up into the side of a hill. So my hitch is on the ground. It's like backed into the hill. So at least it shouldn't fall. I'll have the hitch holding the back end of my truck up if the plug didn't take.
Yeah, but what are you going to do if the tire's flat, ding dong? Like, how are you going to get the spare tire out if it's backed into the hill?
I drive forward.
Hey,
shut up.
Ruin the tire. All right.
Damn it. I thought I had a really good idea. You just ruined that. No, I can get to the tire. I can get to the tire. Maybe. I bought an impact gun from Walmart. I spent $100 on an impact gun because I figured I mow through tires and I'm sick of doing it with a ratchet or a breaker bar and a ratchet. I got an impact from Walmart. Probably won't even work. But that's the fun stuff. Road dogging it gets you.
Yeah. That's why one of my sponsors is Les Schwab. I'm in there so often. I finally said, hey, listen, I give you guys enough business. Like, come on. Bring my own busted stuff in here.
Can I get a tire sponsor or else I'll have to quit fishing?
Sponsorship? Yeah. Well, good. Let's we'll call these we'll call this the ding ding sessions until maybe we'll have Bo on as like a
guest for the ding ding
in the future.
Yeah. I like
that.
We'll
get let's get after potholes. We'll get an update on what that one looks like, and we'll get your Pasca tank update. If anything crazy in the industry happens, we'll jump on here and try to line it out. Give some, I would say, not excellent information, but maybe entertaining information about what's going on.
Nonetheless.
Yeah, it'll be
right, wrong, or indifferent. It'll be information.
That's right. But the Basscast is back and alive. I actually think our next guest we should get is Luke Johns. I think we should try to get him on. Yeah, that dude's awesome. And then maybe even Bo could be a guest.
I think we should invite Bo on his podcast.
On his podcast as a guest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
Catch up with Bo.
I'll make him run the whole thing too, because I have no idea what all these buttons are.
I hope you hit record. I'll be so pissed off if you're like, oh, wait a minute, didn't record. I can't believe that you're the one that's running the technical side of things. I think that might be my biggest mistake. I am overanalyzing life right now.
Yeah. Just let me do. Look, I can raise my hand. I don't know if you can see that. I can react with a laughing emoji. We have a script here. Didn't know that. Layout, camera, mic. Look, I can go away. Boop. Goodbye. Oh, he's back.
Do you like the kid that plays with like the? Remember the
Oh,
toys?
I can mute you too. Oh, this is great. I can mute you. I can make you go away. I can make you come back. Oh, this is way too much power for me. You're back.
Yeah. I should have just left. Stayed gone. I was going to say something about... Never mind.
Yeah, what were you going to say?
I have a feeling that sometimes you steal Jensen's toys and play with them, don't you? Like, especially the ones that have all the different buttons and stuff and make the weird noises. And you push the weird buttons and steal his stuff.
We do a lot of Legos. Big
Legos
Lego guy. Big Lego guy.
All right. Well, you go play Legos. I'll go back to boxing up and shipping ouchies. And we'll reconvene after potholes and Pascatank.
I like it. Don't have an ouchie when you're doing that. Be safe.
10 Roger. See you guys.
See ya.